Look, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Look, mic check 1 2 1 2.
1 2 1 2.
Look, all right. Well, look, welcome
I feel like we
to.
should have some intro music.
Well, we will. Actually, when it plays, this right here is our video.
That's right. I need to choose it. I get to choose it. Oh my bad.
Oh, you want to choose the music?
Oh well, I'm just that type of, I guess, person.
But we'll play something of yours and let it play.
Ooh, that should be hype.
We can do that. Just let me know which one you want to play.
People always asking. People always asking me all these damn questions. Yeah, we can do that.
All right, so we're gonna focus. So, welcome to this episode of Professionally Childish. We have Mr. Kalvin Johnson via Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
You want to introduce yourself? Checking in. Look, and friend. Look at your friend down there.
You see him?
Yeah. My friend is asleep on the floor.
You're gonna be in it. Well, that's Baxter. Bax. I'm Kalvin. You know, I feel like deja vu. Let's go. I'm Kalvin.
Petty.
Only in small chunks, right? I'm Kalvin Johnson, Kalvin Ronald Johnson from Columbus, Georgia, all parts. So I grew up on the, southeast side, Bunker Hill, kind of Mount Vernon area, northeast side, Gateway. Went to Shaw. If I go backwards, I'm saying went to Shaw, went to Arnold.
Where we did not know each other.
Oh, I seen your face.
Lies.
I had to see your face.
Lies.
We had by just how many times we walked the hall. Yeah, I had to see your face. And so I went to Britt David and I went to Diamond. And so, my background in Columbus is very diverse, right? So I know a bunch of Black people and white people. And I mean, it sculpted me to who I am today. Like I look back at all those different unique situations that I found myself in. I found my mom put me in, my dad, like all the stuff that was given to me, like who I am now. Like I can point directly to all of it right now. It just shows exactly who I am. So, went into the military at 20. I did a little bit of college after graduating, like from summer school.
Oh, for real? You graduated from summer school?
Yeah, well, it was still via Shaw, but
right. Look, see, I learn something new every day.
Yo, listen, 2 free A's, and I think that boosted my GPA for me to get the Hope Scholarship.
How you get the Hope Scholarship from summer school? Well, I say okay.
So I did that year. Man, I was in a later podcast. I'll tell you what I used to do in college. But so after a year of college, I came back to Columbus and worked a little bit like at Applebee's. That's where I met my daughter's mother. And it's funny because I actually left Applebee's and just happened to be coming to pick my homeboy up. And I met my daughter's mother. But, I did a couple of things there, made music. I know this is long and drawn out, but like I went into the military at 20, raised my daughter, single parent, I taught, I made music, I, wrote some articles, published, whatever, like got some degrees. Here I am.
Just got some degrees, right? Just got some degrees.
Got some degrees, got some experience, got some life. I got education, and education is the sum of all experiences. So I traveled, I loved, I lived, I lost. I'm here.
Cool.
Yeah.
Look, I don't even know what to say after all that. So look, so you done your 20-year bid, right?
Yeah.
In the military.
Yeah, it was about there.
Almost there.
It'll be 20 in December.
Oh, okay. Look, so you're almost done. So
yeah, but I won't be fully retired until May.
Yeah, I saw your countdown.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, you having a party?
Yeah, I have to say yes, but I don't want the pressure.
Why not?
But yeah, I mean, as much pressure I've dealt with in this life, man, I want a different type of pressure. And even though I can do that, it's just like this last pressure thing with like leaving. It's just like, but yeah, I'm gonna ball out. I'm gonna try to release an album on my retirement date.
That's what's up.
Yeah, maybe have an album release party after.
But hey,
That part. Yeah. You
see?
You see the pressure?
Yeah, I see the pressure.
And then I say I want to release a book with the album. See, too much pressure. Go ahead.
That's too much. I was gonna say, because like now, since you talked about after, the military, what's your plan after?
Be dope.
That's my line. I just want to be dope.
I mean, just be flexible enough to be dope.
Yeah. Look, you're evading the answer.
Oh, sorry. Am I? Mm-hmm. I am. My bad. I knocked that down. Getting used to it. This is the first time I'm using my little Bose cord with this. Ask me the question again.
So what are your plans after the military?
You remember we were talking about pressure. So yeah, there's a couple of things that, I want to do. Like I could say something random, like I want to go to Japan and like learn how to be a samurai. But I actually want to go out there for a year and do 6 months as samurai and 6 months like ninja. You know what I mean? And just go be like dope in Japan and learn that and come back and then just be me. But like, I'm like a ninja and samurai. Like, so what?
Look, I was thinking more so in line of like the business, but hey.
That comes as part of the business. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to speak with somebody so cultured is to speak with somebody who might have something worth saying, And so I spent a lot of my time building credibility for myself, but just to make sure, like when I'm speaking, I know what I'm talking about. And I used to do it for other people. It's just to solidify I know what I'm talking about. But if somebody ever want to check it, they can.
Cool. So you're talking about speaking and everything. Word on the street is you're a motivational speaker. And you have an engagement coming up, don't you?
I don't know. Do I?
I don't know. You tell me, do you?
Maybe. I every time I speak, it's an engagement. Really, I'm getting to the point now. No hubris involved. I just get to the point where I say some things that I should record it and be able to use it later or something. So I got this motivational speaker certification for a couple of reasons, not just for the paper. The paper was to say that I took the time to say, I want to do this and I want people to recognize it. But there are certain things that I learned in the course that kind of showed me how to make a business. And even though I have a business degree, it's just, kind of realigns certain things like how to write speeches, all this other stuff. And I just did it because I was like, let me add more credibility to who I am, right? Because I got a certification to be an instructor, professional manager certification, like, just these little things that to say, hey, because certs are big in the world, to go along with the degrees, to go along with the military service. But inside the military service, I learned how to work on planes, right? Avionics, paralegal, teaching, man, forget about it, right? So I just combine all that stuff and I'm able to speak on multiple different verses in consciousness. And so that makes me a motivational speaker.
Look, so you like speaking on stuff?
You know it.
But so let's speak on this right here. So you already know I told you you're the bomb dropper, right? And last weekend you dropped a bomb on some people, specifically on some women, when you posted the video about low value women versus high value women. You didn't drop one on men though.
I think I did actually.
You think you did?
I believe so.
I don't know.
You know, some people see what they want to see, but you know.
So I see what I want to see.
Hey, we can go check the record though. You know, I'm all about receipts.
I'll go back and pull the receipts.
I'm all about.
But you know, that video caused a little bit of conversation, and it had me looking at you a little side eye, and I was like, let me get Kalvin on here so he can speak for himself and let us know how he really feels on this, because you know we can go back and forth on Facebook forever on it.
Everybody got an opinion.
Right. So what's yours?
Hey, I didn't have one, right? I'm Mr. Indifferent, right? I'm Mr. Third option. I'm B-side. I just put it out there for the conversation. No, I mean, society is judged by society, right? And we're all mirrors. And so that video was a video articulating what society might consider high value and low value, but it wasn't just based on the money you make, right? It's about the value that you bring as a person.
Right.
So after we check the receipts, and please get back to me if you don't see it, I will post the one on the men, because it's the two sides to the coin. And so I posted them just to open the conversation about what we view as value. That's all it was. Let's talk about who we are and how we are valuable. And if you feel like you are and these things are triggering you, well, shit, good. I'm here to stir the pot. All the time.
All the time. So look, so let's dig a little bit deeper in it. What do you consider high value?
Oh man, you know, contributing to the cause of soul work, contributing to the cause of giving back, right? We stand on the shoulders of giants and we can't always pay it back. So we got to pay it forward. And, you know, I sound gung-ho about all that, but like being reverent, like just being good towards each other. You know, like I don't have any ill will in my heart. And my sleep test tells you I sleep good as fuck. So that means I ain't doing. Nah, I could be a sociopath, but no, you can check the record. You can check the record. You can check the record though. Like, you know what I mean? You can check the record. Like anybody who feel like I done did that wrong. And listen, I got people who tell you, man, see, you the type of person. I live on the moral high ground with people. Like I teach it. So I live on the moral high ground. And even though, let's just say I'm petty enough to know what the perception of the moral high ground is. So as long as hey, whatever. People manipulate in whatever way they are, but like for real, I'm trying to take the moral high ground because I ain't trying to out petty somebody.
So, you know, we talk about that all the time though, about the perception of people versus reality.
Yeah.
And yesterday we were talking a little bit about like our background and stuff like that. And you know, I can admit, like when you posted the one about low value and whatnot, I was a little like, okay, because it, you know, it touched on like, and I look, before I say this, you know, because you and I both have children, it kind of touched on the fact like if a woman has children from a previous relationship, if what else was it? Like
it was a lot of shit.
It was like a lot of stuff, but that stuck out to me. And then I was
that like, shit was triggering, boy. That video.
It wasn't so the old me, it would have probably triggered me and had me feeling like, oh, hold up. But who I am today, I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if everybody views people like that, you know, because
hey, it's being said for a reason.
So as you being a man who also had a child pretty young, do you feel like men and women are judged differently on that?
Yes.
So with that being said, do you feel like people look at women in a way and say that, you know, if you have children young, or if you have children by multiple people, or whatever the situation may be, that you're low value? But sorry, I have a guest in here with me, and she won't leave.
I know how it go. I know how it go. So the question is, if you have kids, are you low value?
Yeah.
So this is a unique question, and it would require me to jump into a different consciousness now. Okay. And so this is like, this one I'll be telling people, like, put that thing in sport. Like I go into professional mode and go into personal mode. Like there's a lot of ways to look at that. Right. Because like as a man who found myself in a situation raising my child, and now my child is about to turn 20. Like I'm 40 years old, about to be retired, educated. I've raised a child, so I know how to do it. You know, broken marriages, whatever, you know. Like my wife that I married when I was 21 was not even my daughter's mother.
No, I didn't even know that.
I mean, of course, right? There's a lot of things, right? But it's like I have a chance to start all the way over. And me being a man, like I could, hypothetically, I could meet a 25-year-old woman right now.
You could. And start another family.
Whole nother family.
Right.
Right. And so as a man, I can do that. And my daughter is gone. And she is a woman, even if it was a boy, if she was a boy, whatever. If my daughter was a son, still be going to go do her own, his or her own thing. And so with me being a man, not emotionally tied to my child like a woman would be, I'm free to have a completely different life.
Right. And that, you know, that's something that I talk about a lot with people, because it's a double standard. It's a situation of like, men have the freedom to move in ways that women do not, because same situation. Your daughter's about to turn 20. My son turned 20 in August. And, you know, of course I have other children now.
So, go ahead.
But the situation is this right here. My son turned 20, but here I am. I'm a 40-year-old woman. You having a baby at 40? That's not gonna happen.
Well, it could, but you ain't looking forward to it.
Right. But you know, on the flip side, a man, you can go out, you can meet somebody 15, 20 years younger than you and start all the way back over.
So are we supposed to not do that?
No, I'm not saying that you're not.
That's what I'm saying.
To not do it.
So I'm asking you from the woman perspective, like, because these double standards exist, should we not speak on it, or should we not do it?
So I'm gonna say this right here. Here's the background of this. It was a guy that I know, one of my frat brothers. He was like, "Hey, yeah, because Janae, a man that's 40 to 50 years old does not want you." And I was like, what? He was like, yeah. He was like, because think about it. A man is 40 to 50 years old. Now they have gone out, they've created wealth, they've done everything that they need to do. And if they did it right, they don't have kids. So now they want to have a family. And so they're going to go for somebody younger.
Yep.
And I was like, well, damn, you know, that really just, you know.
It kind of puts women at a serious disadvantage.
It does.
But that's what needs to be recognized by women, because y'all have a lot of power, but at the same time, you're very vulnerable. And that's what's happening. Like, women are vulnerable and then get left stuck, and then they're not vulnerable like that anymore in their mind. I'm not never doing that, right? And then there's this jadedness that's created, hypothetically, And
well, no, it's true. I mean,
I don't want to speak for everybody. I don't want to speak for,
right.
I'm a man.
We can't generalize and say everybody, but as a woman, I can say that the majority of women is, are jaded when it comes to love, relationships, and things like that.
Men are too, but what ends up happening is the power dynamic ends up, because here's what I recognize. Women, they develop so much faster than men in the scheme that the body develops ready to have a baby. And when that happens, grown men start approaching young ladies. Grown men ready to have sex are approaching young women. And so should young women, fall into that world, they start becoming sexually active with grown men.
Right.
Which that means they're now attracted to grown ass men, and boys their age barely have a chance.
But you know what though? And this is why I say a majority, because I remember like being in high school and everything, and I was never attracted to the older guys. Like when girls were like 16, 17 years old dating 20-year-olds, that never was appealing to me.
Well, let me ask you a question though. Were they approaching you?
Yeah.
Okay, so why didn't you do it?
I was never attracted to older men.
Now I'm gonna ask you another question.
But you know what though? And I'm gonna say this, maybe because like I didn't have a need. A lot of times, like when younger girls are attracted to older men, it's because they're giving them things that they're not getting.
Daddy issues.
But at the same time, just a little background. My parents got divorced when I was 6 years old.
Same.
And so it was me and my mom for a while. But then my mom started dating my stepfather. Okay. And my stepfather was an amazing step parent. Okay. He came in, loved me like I was his own, like people thought that I was his child. Right. And so although the relationship between me and my dad was not the best then, my stepfather came in and gave me
and gave you what you needed.
Filled that void. And so maybe
there's no maybe to that. I was getting to the point, but you beat me to it.
Sorry.
There ain't no sorry needed. It just confirms what I was saying, and so when there's that gap, there's that special gap of why two parents need to be together for the kid to get the best experience of man and woman, right? Because if you grow up single parent and it's only a woman, you only gonna get the female perspective. And if there's no man involved, you don't even get shown how to be a wife or, or a husband or any of that. You got to figure all that out. You got to look at TV and read these books and all this other stuff, right? So, yeah, like understanding that young ladies grow up faster. And if you don't have a dad, you're attracted to older men. Like that whole concept, like speeds up the maturity of a young lady. And so you can find yourself pregnant early by an older dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, I still got pregnant early, but he's only a year older than me.
Well, but same shit. I'm saying, but either way, right? Yeah, either way, things happen with either way. So thank you for pointing that out. It don't matter, right? But what I'm saying is, by the time you got to that age, there were still guys. I'm saying like 29 years old, still hollering at you. So, but you joke. But since you grew up the way you grew up, you just say it with somebody your age. You ain't need that other teacher. You wanted a peer, but at the same time, was he still your peer?
I mean,
your ex.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's good. Why did y'all get a divorce?
Oh well, no. So my ex-husband, he's definitely my peer. He was only 6 months older than me.
Right. But do you feel like he was on your level, or and y'all just didn't get along? Or do you feel like he was? And that's not like that. I mean, just in simple terms, without like shit that's well known. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, yeah.
So in simple terms, we grew up differently.
That's it. Different levels.
That's really what it was. We had a different set of values, and that's what it was.
The reason I say levels, I'm thinking like levels of, there's stages of development morally, right? Mm-hmm. But there's levels to that shit. And so in the first level is pre-conventional, second level is conventional, third level is post-conventional. And so in the first level, you have stage 1 and 2, and that's egoism, but it's like, oh, I'm scared. I'm going to make sure I follow the rules. I don't want to get in trouble. And the second one is, well, I know the rules, but I'm going to do this because I have the individual benefit of getting this. So if I get in trouble, I get in trouble, but I'm going to do this. Right. Egoism. Then you get into relativism in level 2, conventional, stage 3 and stage 4, social relativism, and then cultural relativism. So you got peer pressure from your peers, and then you got the laws that tell you what to do. Like, you don't know why you're doing it, but hey, the laws are the law, right? And then you get into utilitarianism, then you get into altruism. But I go on all those tangents to explain, well, first of all, my mind frame and how I speak about this stuff, but understanding that your situation with your ex was just different moral stages of development, and y'all had different moral foundations that y'all leaned on.
Right. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Right. And so it's like love languages, but inside of that, it's like using those love languages to touch the moral taste buds. Oh, I made a leadership theory called SALT that touches the moral taste buds. Oh yeah, that's right.
Look, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Look, if you want to share it,
plug. It's all good. It's all good.
Think so?
Next. What's the next question?
Next question. It's not really a question. It's more of a statement piece, because you were saying, like, as far as like moral values and things like that being aligned, and that creating a better relationship. Mm-hmm. Do you think that that's what's missing, like now, as far as like in the
because people aren't doing the soul work they need to do, right? And there's no judgment from me, because I practice reverence, and I understand that we can get caught up, right? We can habitually get caught up in external power, which just only satisfies the 5 senses, which are insatiable. You're gonna want to eat again. You're gonna want to have sex again. You want to go to the beach again. Like all these things, like even if you continuously do it, it's not feeding your soul, even though you think it is. Like you can find ways to feed your soul while doing those external power things, and it's dope. But if you're just living life to feed those external power things and to show people that you're able to do that, and that's success to you, you're already on the wrong track. Because if somebody's doing soul work or just aligned different, you just got 2 different people going 2 different ways, and you can't run together. You know what I mean?
So in that, because I think that you and we agree on that one. I've been finding a hard time like getting past that interviewing stage and actually digging deep to find out if this person is really who they say they are.
You got to find those questions. So there's certain questions that you need to start having, that you ask people to see what type of mind frame they have, right? Like, I'll give you an example. What's the root of all evil?
You asking me?
Yep.
Hell, I don't know. I would say it's ego and greed.
Oh yeah, and you would be very much in line with the correct answer. But a lot of people say money.
Well, nah, because you need money, but it's right. The greed in what you're willing to do for it.
I just gave you your first question to weed out a lot of ignorant ass people.
So I ain't that ignorant.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I wasn't
just a little bit.
But you passed the test. But what I'm saying is, when I say ignorant meaning if you just, even a person with depth, if they just sprout off money, then they're an emotional thinker. They're an emotional person, and they didn't even register, but you registered, which means that you're a rational, strategic thinker. And we have less than a minute for part one. Is this part one?
I know it is. It's part one. Look, you made it through. So look, so we're gonna take a break, and I'm gonna connect you in on part two, and we'll get it done. But intermission. You gonna play some music?
Hell no.